Hi, Kay here with today's Ccrn question of the day. This is a good one. I think you'll like it. So we have a person that is on PEEP. So PEEP is ordered for a patient with ARDS who is intubated and mechanically ventilated. The therapeutic benefit of PEEP is, well, now let's just take a moment, okay? Before we get to the answers, let's just take a moment. Because in order to be able to understand the answers to this question, you have to understand functional residual capacity, which is really a respiratory therapy measure. But it's pretty huge when it comes to the therapeutic value of PEEP. So let's just take a moment and talk about that. So this right here is an alveolus. Now, when we talk about functional residual capacity, I'm just going to call it FRC, okay? FRC is the amount of air that remains in an alveolus at the end of exhalation, because we know that we do not exhale out every last little bit of air that we have in our alveoli, because they'd collapse, right? There's got to be a little bit of residual air to help keep the alveoli open. So the air that remains in the alveolus at end exhalation is known as FRC. So when we talk about ARDS, and our patient here has ARDS, remember that? So what happens with ARDS as the alveoli collapse, our FRC goes down, our functional residual capacity goes down. And that's why you can pump oxygen into these people until the cows come home, but it is not going to help them. And what we see at the bedside is we see refractory hypoxemia, which means that we're jacking up and up and up and up on the patient's oxygen. All the while, their SAT's not improving. Your patient's not getting better. So you're jacking up and up and up on your FiO2 even more. Patient's still not getting better. So when you see that, we call that refractory hypoxemia. And refractory hypoxemia is due to a right to left intrapulmonary shunt in this case. Now, there's another thing that we have to talk about. What does that mean? Right to left intrapulmonary shunt. That means that blood leaves the right side of the heart, goes down to the lungs, and makes its way back up to the left side of the heart without ever getting oxygenated. That's a right to left intrapulmonary shunt. Again, blood leaves the right side of the heart, goes down to the lungs, makes its way back up to the left side of the heart without ever getting oxygenated. That is a right to left intrapulmonary shunt. For a shunt, FiO2 and increasing, it's not going to help. That's how we even identify that the shunt is there. So we have to use positive pressure. Positive pressure is used to treat an intrapulmonary shunt. So if the patient is intubated, like this guy, if the patient is intubated, we're going to use PEEP. If the patient is not intubated, say they're on, a mask, oxygen, we would go then to BiPAP. That's positive pressure, right? We've got to get the positive pressure in there. Why? Because positive pressure is going to increase FRC, that functional residual capacity of air that's sitting in the alveolus at the end of exhalation, because it's that air that helps to keep the alveolus from collapsing. And what we're hoping is we can recruit, using PEEP, we can recruit some alveoli. So some alveoli that are about ready to collapse, we're trying to recruit them and keep them from collapsing. So now we're ready to go to our answers. So let's take a look. The therapeutic benefit of PEEP is to reduce functional residual capacity You know what? I'm going to stop right there. Do you want to reduce functional residual capacity? No way. So we're skipping over A, we're skipping over B. Why? They both start out with reducing functional residual capacity. No way do we want that. So now we're going down to C and D. Let's look at C. The therapeutic benefit of PEEP is to increase functional residual capacity. Okay, I'm liking it. And increase intrapulmonary shunt. Nope. Deal breaker. I do not want to increase intrapulmonary shunt. That's not a good thing. We want to decrease the intrapulmonary shunt. So therefore, guys, what do we wind up with? We wind up with D. We want to increase functional residual capacity and decrease the intrapulmonary shunt. This is a great question, and I bet you will find this on a Ccrn exam. I have taken the Ccrn every 3 years for as long as I can remember. And I take it every 3 years in order to renew my Ccrn credential. And I do it because I want to know what's on that exam. And also for self-reflection and self-evaluation. I mean, if I'm here in front of you talking about all these things, to me, I should be able to walk in cold off the street, sit down, and pass it without having to study. I should be able to do that if I am presenting myself as a Ccrn instructor, right? I don't know. That's just my thought. So I take it every 3 years. And so, again, typically this is, or some derivation of this, it's always on the exam. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the question of the day today. Head over to my website, khoppypresents.com, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.